with Loella, written and illustrated by Margaret Hurd. This week's episode, It Takes Two. Millie the Millicent was not a happy camper. "What's wrong?" asked Loella Snuggle Bunny. "Miles just phoned me," replied Millie. "He said we shouldn't see each other for a while. We should date different people for a change." "That's not like him at all," agreed Loella. "Of course not," Millie sobbed. "I don't understand it. We've been best friends in 6th grade, and now... Millie and Loella took a walk downtown. They were shocked to see Miles Molecule talking to an attractive blonde in a miniskirt. "Sylvia Gefluffenhoffen!" gasped Millie. "Every guy in town has a crush on her." Miles didn't even notice Millie and Loella as he spoke to Sylvia. "So I'll see you tomorrow night at around 6:30, he said. "For sure," replied Sylvia. "Are there any guys at school you're interested in?" Loella whispered to Millie. "I don't know. I never really thought about it," Millie replied. "Well, if you didn't know Miles Molecule, who would you be interested in?" "Probably Vance Murata." "Every girl in school must have a crush on him," sighed Loella. "You got it, Pontiac," sighed Millie. "He probably wouldn't even know I exist." After science class, Vance Murata walked right up to Millie the Millicent. "Millie," he said. "Yes, yes, yes!" she exclaimed nervously as her heart pounded wildly. "Can I ask you something?" he asked. "Yes, yes, yes!" she exclaimed. "Hey, you're pretty good friends with Michelle Henderson. Could you give me her phone number?" he asked. Millie's heart sunk. She was too stunned to even speak. That night, Miles Molecule arrived at Sylvia's house to pick her up for her date, complete with flowers and candy. "She's upstairs dressing," said Mrs. Gefluffenhoffen, as her yappy little dog barked. "She'll be down in a jiffy, jiffy, jiffy," she sang as she continued dusting. Miles took a seat in the living room while he waited for Sylvia. As that so-called jiffy stretched into nearly half an hour, Miles fell asleep during Mr. Gefluffenhoffen's long-winded discussion about Canadian politics. "Sorry I took so long," said Sylvia as she came downstairs. "I couldn't find a thing to wear." "Oh dear, I'm allergic to roses. Miles, you shouldn't have. I can't eat candy. I'm on a diet. I've become such a fat pig." Miles and Sylvia went out for supper. He ordered a burger and fries. She ordered the Weight Watchers special. When her meal arrived, the first thing she did was push the carrots to the edge of her plate. "Carrots have too much sugar," she said. And then she scraped the cream cheese off her celery and pushed it aside. "I've got to count every calorie in order to try to stay looking gorgeous," she said. The whole time they were there, Sylvia talked constantly about nothing but dieting, trying to lose weight and maintain her appearance. Miles had never been so bored in his life. He tuned out her conversation and tried to think of a more pleasant subject as he ate his burger, not really enjoying it. By the time Miles finished his meal, Sylvia was still ever so slowly and daintily nibbling on that first celery stick. It was obvious they would be too late for the movie. "So what would you like to do instead?" asked Miles. "How about bowling?" she suggested. "In that outfit?" "Yeah, why not?" They went to the bowling alley. Sylvia had to be the worst bowler Miles had ever seen, throwing gutter balls nearly every time. But every time she bent over to roll the ball, many men whistled at her. Miles felt very embarrassed and uncomfortable. "Let's go for a walk," he said. "But our game's not over yet," she protested. "It's too hot in here," he said. Miles and Sylvia hadn't even been walking in the park 10 minutes when Sylvia started to complain that her new high-heeled shoes made her feet hurt. "Well then," sighed Miles irritably, "what do you like to do?" "Does this answer your question?" But Miles was not enjoying it at all. He knew in his heart he wished it could be Millie kissing him instead. Loella was sleeping over at Millie's place that night. They were eating pizza, experimenting with makeup, and watching an old Shirley Temple movie. But nothing seemed to cheer Millie up. Just then, there was a knock at the door. "Miles!" exclaimed Millie. "What are you doing here?" "Oh, Millie," he said, "please forgive me." "Why should I?" "Because I was wrong. I should have known it was a mistake to even think of dating somebody else. You're the only girl I could ever love." "Yeah, right," Millie snorted cynically. "Really? Remember that song we wrote together when both of us still lived in New York? Well, what about it? The words are still as true today as they were when we wrote them. I've fallen and I can't get up, head over heels in love with you. I've fallen and I can't get up, down with a bang, do you feel like I do?" "Happy endings always make me cry," sighed Loella.